Terrorblade, so he's pretty survivable here, but he does have Metamorphosis finish now. I don't really see anybody rotating to try to kill Terrorblade, at least until A gets like Ice Blast, or maybe we see a core rotate to try to get a kill. So for now, we'll see the 1v1s look pretty static here. Maybe they'll try on Sylar mid, but he does still have 2 Spirit Siphons, so it's a hard kill to get.
Top lane. Set for the play onto Pi, or for the squish here. Easier kill. They'll punch down onto the AA. They'll take down one. Arbet trying to turn the flat cannon, rolling from DJ, but there's the snowball. Comes in just in time to dodge the boulder smash, keeping Fade and Yang safe. They'll punch into Arbet. Thunder strikes out upon him, but now Arbet ready to turn back in with the rocket barrage. Looking for Yang, but Arbet's falling too low. The shards are out. Stick charges will not save the gyrocopter. Arbet will fall. DJ looking for some sort of a cleanup. He's trying for Fade. Will get it. Yang comes back in with one final right click to make sure that VGJ Thunder are the ones to take the fight this time round. Just enough as well. It's definitely close fights, as we expected with both of these lineups, but able to take that gyro out and make sure that Arbed does continue to suffer in farm, as we now really are seeing the difference in the amount that he's getting in comparison to Freeze's Terrorblade.
I know, and Tiny is almost level 6 as well. He's at 5.5 right now. So they're getting some levels, but it's kind of trickling into the Ancient Apparition more often than not, since he's the one that's kind of securing some of these blow-ups. So on the bright side, Envy's having a good lane, but he's kind of just trading with Sylar. So it just seems like VGJ is getting the much better end of the stick here. I mean, they're going to have a farmed Beastmaster, maybe, but he's even under leveled himself. He's only level 4.
I think, yeah, both side lanes. Absolute win for VGJ. And now they're looking for the kill on Universe. They've popped the shards down. He can't get his way round down the stairs. VGJ Thunder. Both side lanes absolutely secured in these first 7 minutes.
VGJ is just rotating so well. They're constantly making Universe scared enough that he doesn't feel confident to actually lane fully, and he had such a detriment in terms of levels at start that he's just trying to catch up now, and he can't even get close to contesting a Terrorblade. Whereas on the other side, if Gyro runs out of regen, Tiny can just spam him out, lowers health more and more and more, and then any support rotation is a big threat. But they can't do the same thing on the other side of the map. A tough lane. Beastmaster doesn't even have boots yet. Like, shards alone just guarantees his death, and with greater mobility from Disruptor, it's just even harder for him to get experience this game.
Yeah. Universe at the same amount of net worth pretty much and experience as both supports of VGJ Thunder, and he's in trouble yet again. Shards come out, kinetic field is down, with the damage from Freeze and his Metamorphosis, Universe will fall once more, and that'll knock him down into the bottom 3 net worth, as this is a bit of a rough start for Beastmaster. Top lane Yang, homing missile, is going to be enough to get the cold feet proc, but they just don't have the follow-up damage at this stage. He'll back off, bottom lane, VGJ Thunder. They'll claim this tier 1 tower 8 minutes in.
A little help from DJ is going to set that one up, and yeah, eventually enough damage helps to have an Eye of the Storm for sure. Nice pickup there at least, but Fnatic, this is definitely not the same laning stage as we saw last game. VGJ is pretty much controlling almost every lane exactly how they want to.
I think a lot of weight this game is going to be on Envy to really use the power that he's got mid. He has got the initiation from DJ, quick snowball from Fade, buying him some time, but with the Eye of the Storm still up, Envy and that double damage will be able to chase down another. All eyes on Envy here to carry the side. Now he's in a bit of a tricky position, very deep, movement coming in from Freeze, DDC and Yang. If they'll chase down Envy, he has got the link here to build himself up some of the damage, but with 3 heroes surrounding him, they will still take him down. And that is a big kill for VGJ Thunder to get, as Envy definitely the one getting most out of control on Fnatic's lineup of now. If they can control this Razor, it's really going to put a bit of a stop to the flow that Fnatic wants to get going with this Razor Gyro duo core.
I think he's pretty happy with the position, though. I mean, they killed the Death Prophet, he got a support afterwards, and he's almost finished his Drum of Endurance, which basically means that Envy is about online to be able to do space creation stuff, which is exactly what they need to get the other heroes some levels in farm. It's still going to take time for Beastmaster catch up. DJ getting tossed killed.
Yeah, they get the throw in onto Fade, closes the gap instantly with the snowball stun control.
That was very smart, because that way they don't have to commit Glimpse, they didn't have it ready, so it gets closer, there's no way that he can Rolling Boulder away. Really smart way to adjust their gank.
Sylar will come in with the remainder of this Exorcism, make sure that they can have a good shot at this tier 1 tower. Fortification will come out there. RTP's coming into the tier 2 from Fnatic, but highly unlikely to actually get in and put a stop to this. They will find the tower, maybe they can get some kills to punish them. They have put the stun and now Ice Blast onto 2, silence down onto the Terrorblade, but Freeze can keep his distance, and both heroes will be more than fine.
That was really close to being successful, but they must have gotten the 6 on A little bit late there. By the time it hits, Envy was on cooldown for Plasma Field, otherwise they would have been able to get a kill. So basically the fruits of VGJ's labor in the off lane has paid dividends here. They get a tower a little bit too late on the A and no kill. So they're just kind of controlling the map in a really good way. And TB is going to be definitely the stronger carry in the late game, especially if he stays on top on net worth like this. So Fnatic's got to be really scared.
Absolutely. Freeze has had more than enough of an opening this game to really be that beast. And now he can resort to the camps, play very safe in terms of farm, and really force Fnatic to have to make these sort of aggressive extensions into the half a map of VGJ Thunder if they want to have a chance of getting the kill. And Smoke Up, Universe, he's hit 6. They have that raw Ice Blast combo, which is going to be crucial for taking down some of these cores on VGJ Thunder.
Yeah, they can kill anybody with this right now. It's so powerful. They're going to try to approach in a bit of a weird way.
Oh, it's quite a deep chase. They do get the boulder smash. Will apply time for the cooldown slow to hit onto Sylar, but not quite enough for them to close the gap. VGJ Thunder themselves, they're thinking about reacting upon this one. Raw blown out onto the Disruptor. They will lose DDC, but with this move, Fnatic, ideally, they want to get more than just a support now. There's going to be the reinitiation from Fade. Rolls forward, Ice Blast comes through. It will be dodged to the side by Freeze. They've got the Magnetize coming out, but Fnatic, the four of them, they're trapped in this shard. Yank's just moving in, and Sylar just cleans up. The Crypt Swarm gets the triple. They'll take Universe as well with an aggressive Sunder from Freeze, as Fnatic lose everybody. VGJ Thunder, sure, they lose 3, but that was Fnatic going for a smoke play. And I mean, Sylar, he's going to be heading straight to the bank with that one.
Dude,
Picks up the easiest triple kill of his life on that.
You would have thought they had like a Darkseer on their team or something. Their
The way
opponents
that
were
was-
just backed into a corner slowly, cattle prodding him to get him grouped a little bit more,
I
and
mean,
then all of a sudden, just it was finally time.
Fade's Tusk, I mean, we saw the shard play so far from this man, from the start to this stage, all 12 minutes of it. Every shard has been on point.
Yeah.
And as you say, grouping up 4 heroes like that, you do not see that often from a shard.
It's just amazing how he's been able to play this out. He forces his opponents to fight, and as they play it out, eventually he traps them again and says, okay, now it's finally time to clean up and kill you guys. He ended up sacrificing for it by going with the snowball, but it was the perfect thing to do once he blocked their retreat path.
I mean, you could see how sort of surprised Fnatic were. They just sort of stood there for, you know, a good few seconds, just unable to sort of walk past one another.
I thought they were fine as soon as they killed the Disruptor. Like, a Disruptor ulti in similar circumstances would have been a full team wipe, but killing him at the start meant Fnatic could potentially fight it, but all of a sudden it just got worse and worse for him.
I do like this though, you know, Fnatic not looking to be deterred. They are trying to keep it aggressive. Fade goes in with a roll in onto Envy. Envy pops the Eye of the Storm. They're trying to turn. There's the combo with the Raw and the Ice Blast bursting down Sylar. They'll take the DP, but Envy's falling low. Thunder strikes out upon himself, and he'll tick down. 1-for-1 trade between the two mids. Can Fnatic find more? They'll get the roll in from DJ. Magnetize as well. Pop down onto Fade and Yang. Yang having to retreat. Fade gets focused. Will get stunned up by the kick. As Fnatic do claim 2. Despite that 5k advantage that VGJ Thunder did get off the back of that last fight, they want to keep the fight going, and now Abed, he's moving. Call down onto Yang. They'll take the Tiny. Homing missiles out onto DDC. He'll be forced back. You can see Abed maybe questioning if he can dive in for the cheeky kill. He's got 3 points in the barrage. It's a little too deep, though, as he will have to let DDC get out of there and get back to safety. But nonetheless, Fnatic keeping this pressure up. They're keeping the fights going, and they'll be able to claim this tier 1 tower back with VGJ Thunder.
Just a little dangerous to do this because their opponents did respawn, but Drum popped, and Fnatic just stays and commits to it, and they're able to take the tier 1. So that kind of evens up the map in a lot of big ways. They still have the off-lane tower on VGJ Thunder side, but really big team fight for Fnatic, and crucial that they're able to kill the Death Prop at the start of that game.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. The Raw and the Ice Blast, as you say, it's just going to be something that each and every time is going to cause massive issues for most members of VGJ Thunder.
And Yang still doesn't have his Blink Dagger yet, which is really costly. If he's got that, he can just selectively one-shot people at the start of the fight. Because Tusk sets up all the plays, prevents Fnatic from running away, initiates properly. But once Yang gets this, he's going to be able to just instantly blow up the AA, and then the same kind of response and kill thing isn't going to be as possible for Fnatic's side.
And I like this as well, of course, from Universe with his Beastmaster build, because of sort of the importance of getting the setup. He's got that Shadow Blade queued up after the treads first, before the Necro books.
Yeah, this isn't that weird for him. He was doing the same thing at Katowice, I believe, when Fnatic had their really good run. Just fast Shadow Blade, he sets up the kills, and then they make good stuff happen.
They certainly do have good team fight Fnatic, but as we say, the same to be said for VGJ Thunder. If they get the chance to keep Sylar alive with the exorcism in his team fights, it is absolutely going to be very tricky for Fnatic to play around. But maybe that is something that they can look to try and keep notes of, the fact that there are these sort of 2 cores with these big cooldowns that they can play around, both the Exorcism and the Metamorphosis. Sure themselves, there's the Roar, but other than that, Gyro, Spirit, AA, Razor, they're fine to pretty much fight at any time of the game. So if they can work around those timings, they could certainly look to abuse that weakness of VGJ Thunder.
Yeah, they definitely can, but they can't get caught unawares. TDC is able to roll out at least, and Abed can escape too.
DJ, he's out.
They'll be fine.
DGC not able to quite get vision for the grab there with that roll into the tree line.
Probably living the support life, man. Free farm in the lane is great.
Getting those levels. Getting some pressure onto the tower. Arbev will join him. That's Fnatic. They look to pressure this other tier 1, but look at this VGJ Thunder. They want to fight. They've got those ult cooldowns. They have both those big ones we talked about. And Fnatic, they respect that. They're backing away. But as soon as there's any sort of chance that VGJ Thunder are heading up there, Fnatic, they're cool sitting back. Getting that farm onto Arbed and making sure that him and Envy can get those big items to go with.
In the meantime, Terrorblade's still split pushing the bot lane as well, so just completely valuable for them at the moment. Fnatic wants this mid kill. Haste is popped on Beastmaster. This could give them a follow-up, but it just seems the teams are reading each other so well right now. Probably because there's a billion observer wards on the dire side of the map right now. Maybe they spotted the smoke here.
They certainly seem aware of this. I mean, maybe Fade gets caught out. He's out on his own. Was shoving this lane down bottom. But no, he TPs away in time. There's not going to be any sort of connection from Fnatic. As VGJ Thunder read the situation and keep their heroes safe.
Universe just read the positioning a little bit differently than he assumed he'd be all the way back to safety. Doesn't work out. It's like the doing the stupid TP basically. The pros will never expect it.
I like this as well from VGJ Thunder. As soon as they're aware that there's sort of been a failed smoke attempt from Fnatic, they themselves, bam, immediately go for the aggressive.
It's just so hard to outsmart a pro team right now, out of all the top teams. They just always know where each other are, but this could be finally a kill. It's only support though, and this is kind of why Pilot Eye is even in the lane in the first place.
Yeah.
Because it's easier for him to do this. Where's he going with his Ice Blast? Oh, he's checking Rush, okay. He probably won't let that fly. Okay, he does. Now his opponents know that it's on cooldown though. This is kind of a bad, and then they pinged it. I think that was a big mistake. If you just hold it, it goes off the map and it doesn't get cast. I think you should have done that instead. Now they're going to feel more confident to pressure.
Yeah, they're starting to get a few touches in onto the tower. Sylar does have that level 2 exorcism as well if he wants to commit with it.
They got 10 more seconds till Ice Blast and they could jump again, but yeah, the tower's basically dead.
Yeah, they put the meta for this one.
A glyph, I guess, but I don't know if it's worth it.
Fortification will come out from Fnatic as some of the members of VGJ Thunder do look to sort of back up and try and find a catch, but space is there for Freeze. We'll get the tower. Shadowblade now complete for Universe, so we'll start to see if he can get those big roars to start off the team fights that this Beastmaster needs to find.
And I think it's fine that Fnatic didn't necessarily defend there. They were a little outmaneuvered, and more importantly, they just don't have BKBs yet. It's really dangerous for them to commit to a big fight right now. Because it won't just be like losing a tier 2 tower, it's Roshan, which means the next 6 or so minutes is just not good for Fnatic. I mean, so play it safe till you get your BKBs, then force a fight like that.
Is there a chance, like if you're VGJ Thunder, do you want to maybe think about using Exorcism to try and take Roche yourself, or is it just too risky when there's 5 heroes on the map for Fnatic?
If there's good positioning, definitely go for it. Wait till your opponents are across the map. Do they have a medallion yet?
They do not at the moment. No.
Yeah, that would definitely help a lot. A lot more exorcism damage, but they can just play it standard. I mean, they've got a level 2 exorcism as well. They'll kill it pretty fast either way. Tusk is going for a blink dagger instead, and another smoke going. Instantly, they TP'd the Terrorblade, the ball lane.
Okay, so he shows...
Or somebody else. I might be confused.
I know, Terrorblade he's down there, so...
There's a Vortex in the Roche pit, too. Just trying to be careful here. I want to make sure that their opponents don't sneak it without... I mean, Fnatic, basically any Envy team is the Secret Roche team, right? So I'm sure they're literally always thinking about Roshan. There's no way your opponents can sneak it away from you, right?
Yeah, there's no way that they'll let them do that. I think VGJ Thunder, we haven't seen them attempt, so I think they know that Fnatic will be ready to check it at a moment's notice, and there's the jump in. They'll find a catch. It's just the support. But DJ gone. Space is there down bottom. Freeze continues to push and is able to take another tier 2 tower. I mean, all 3 tier 2s now gone this pre-20-minute mark.
This is really smart how they did that. Just TB pushing out bot lane, they smoked and looked for the mid kill potentially. And Fnatic was a little wise to it. Like, DJ was in a pretty safe position because he wanted to see where his opponents were and try to get out, but they spotted him first, they initiated, and they get a kill. And in the meantime, TB was just solo pushing a tower, so they got a free tower basically and got a kill. They lose a tier 1, but I think that's a great trade for VGJ Thunder, and the game will slow down a little bit. Like The crucial item clearly is just smokes. Like, we've seen so many big smokes so far.
And in terms of the crucial items that the Fnatic are waiting for, as you mentioned earlier, it really does seem to be these BKBs. They've got it on Envy. They haven't quite got the BKB yet on Arbed, but once those two are out, I would not be surprised if we see Fnatic just get that a little bit more proactive. Since the Shadowblade pick up on Universe, he himself hasn't really been looking to make the plays, so very apparent that Fnatic are more content with just getting these core items out before they go for a 5-on-5.
Which is fine, because he always is going to need somebody with him. The problem with the Shadowblade build is he just doesn't have any damage, really, in comparison to something like a Necro. So he can't really just look for solo kills with Shadowblade. It won't work. It has to be, he moves with his team, they're all smoked, he uses Shadowblade to basically initiate and scout the fight, so that he can find the right initiation. That's pretty much the way that they have to do it. It's a bit of a different playstyle here, but VGJ still playing pretty aggressive. There's some D-warding here by DJ, so he's going to be completely fine.
Problem is, of course, as well with this passiveness for Fnatic, that Freeze, he'll almost certainly have his BKB at the same time that both of their cores do, as he is very close to it. And as you can see on the net worth, this Terrorblade continuing to be quite a few steps ahead of both Envy's Razor and Arbed's Gyro. Freeze just had a brilliant opening to the game with the lane situation, and as we say, with the objectives that they've been taking, the fights that he's been involved in, 1-0-9, it's been a perfect Terrorblade game so far.
And he's doing great on farm, but he still has to be really careful in these team fights because he can just get bursted between Ice Blast and Roar and a little bit of nuke here and there. He's got a lot of HP right now, and if he gets his BKB off, he can do whatever he wants for a couple seconds, unless, you know, he gets rolled or whatever. But and there's his BKB finish. Really fast timing here.
Yeah.
This is insane.
22-minute farm on this Terrorblade is looking very, very nice indeed. See what he's able to do with it. Level 16 as well, in terms of levels. The BKB for Arbed is now on its way out. So Fnatic, they have got their BKBs done. So has Freeze.
Gotta be so careful here. Observe word on the Ancients. This could be an initiation.
Fade. He's looking for the shard block, and well, was there really any question if he was going to get it? This man has not been messing up a shard at all. We'll be able to find the trap onto Pyle Die.
Whoa.
The rest of the team moving in. Pi, he will fall. They will turn and get a bit of a damage down back onto Fade, but it's tough. You've got to be careful with your positioning because Fade will trap you every time.
Observe word just so valuable there.
And this is nice. As soon as they know the Ice Blast has gone for 20 seconds, they're into Roche with the Exorcism. Without the Ice Blast, and considering the items that VGJ Thunder do have, it's relatively hard for Fnatic to take a fight. Universe on the side does manage to close the gap with the Shadowblade, will find a free pick-off. This is more space and time for the rest of them to go towards the pit. Arbed and DJ, they're coming in though.
So well.
They're going to try and contest this. BKB's a pop.
They got it.
They'll get it. Arbed snatches the Aegis, turns up in time. Sylar will fall, does not manage to find time for the heals to come through from the Exorcism Freeze. He's trying to man fight. He's trying to look towards Arbed. Will be able to take the Aegis out of the hands of the Gyrocopter, and they have lost Razor as well. Ice Blast flying in, connects onto Yang, but Freeze, he turns. He is big, he is powerful on this Terrorblade. Arbed is falling so damn low. The Reflection Illusion will chase him down. So Fnatic, they may have snatched the Aegis, but overall, it cost them both of the lives of the cores, as well as that immediate Aegis pop, as Arbed will lose it. As we are starting to see, really, this Freeze Terrorblade, just a little too hard to tackle head-on in these fights.
No kidding. I mean, still really good for Fnatic. The fact that they don't have Aegis means they can guarantee a Terrorblade kill if they get the initiation, and ooh, Pyle Die is so dead.
There we go.
Oh, JK.
Oh, he's got the
Run
movement
for your
speed.
life.
There we go. The Vortex speed boost. We'll slide him out of there.
Thanks, Ice Frog, for that one.
Quite a little
Oh,
bit of a
he
buff.
just finished his first major item. It's a Bracer. Good for him.
There we go. Pi stepping up in the world.
Yeah.
Watch out, Mr. Big Bucks.
But really good fight. Aegis being denied from Freeze is good. And obviously Gyro is showing a lot of danger playing against the Terrorblade. The TB pick certainly paying off. But as he finishes Butterfly, things get improved and improved. And either way, he's still doing a lot of damage in the fight by himself. Just not really to Terrorblade, just to the other guys. So maybe the fight goes the other way. Beastmaster roars on TV. They get the kill there. Everything changes. And they can actually just snowball the rest of the team from there, with Gyro's just not in the threat, really. Except for maybe Death Prophet, but Death Prophet's more utility survivability items right now. So I feel like Gyro can kite and out DPS there.
He wants the bottom lane. See if they can find Yang. Does go for the TP out. He'll make it. Quick blink to the sidelines. TP done. He is gone. So This Terrorblade, once he has the Skadi complete, which Freeze is getting ever so close to, I do start to wonder if they're actually going to be able to kill him at all in these fights.
Yeah, it's becoming a lot of HP. And more than that, if he has a normal fight, Gyro has an even harder time staying alive because he just gets perfectly stunned or slowed the whole time. They're going to grab the Disruptor at least.
Yeah, look at the catch. Set up for the Ice Blast. DJ finds the jumper, but at the same time up top, Universe caught out and alone. The last remaining sort of seconds of that Sentry Ward, giving them the vision required.
DJ gets Yule Sceptered, but he's going to be able to get out either way. I mean, kills like that are not terrible for Fnatic. Their setups are basically, it has to be either Earth Spirit or Universe on the Beastmaster. So if they can get those kills, it's just going to delay the game by a little bit. It's only Disruptor, but they're losing in net worth, so every kill is going to give them levels and a significant amount of gold. They're going to look to kill the AA here, though.
Yeah, Yang's got the combo. Jumps in, Avalanche toss. Highlight die has gone. Yang. Look towards Envy. A quick pop of the drums will get Envy back to safety. And Envy finishes off the Solar Crest. As you say, defensive-wise for DP. Sylar has that Lincoln's complete as well.
I'm sure Fnatic feels on the back foot right now. Like they're lane dominators of Gyro as well as Razor. They just didn't go nearly as well as they thought they would. The Razor traded and the Gyro was just playing catchable game. Yeah. He's doing fine now, but he's like 5,000 gold behind the Terrorblade.
This Freeze TB, I mean, you sort of got to ask yourself, do you feel that Fnatic could have done a bit more in terms of just putting pressure onto this Terrorblade at the start, or did they just not have the draft to sort of accomplish that early on?
I don't think so. It would have been really hard. Maybe they commit Earth Spirit in a slightly different way in the early game would have been one solution, but it's very tough. I don't really see him plus Beastmaster doing anything against the Disruptor. Like they would be really hard for them to get the kill. So I think they probably tri-laned it right, perhaps, but they just needed the little fights to go a little better. So either way, the game is still winnable for Fnatic, but VGJ Thunder's playing so well.
Yeah, and that is the Skadi complete 27 minutes in. This Terrorblade absolutely out of control by Freeze. And as we're really seeing, VGJ Thunder's flexibility when it comes to Freeze and Sylar's roles really being apparent in this game. Metamorphosis popped. VGJ Thunder, they're ready to try and push into the base. We'll see if they're able to do so. Jump forward. Look for the toss back. Does only grab the creep. The rest of Fnatic are able to keep themselves at a distance. Freeze standing his ground, pushing in. They have the Exorcism as well, ready to commit if a fight does kick off.
He's got Manta ready at any point too. And basically Fnatic can't just stop him from hitting the tower. They have to initiate. That's the only way they can start this here.
They're looking for it instantly with this Skadi. Freeze just able to make sure that Arbet's forced to keep at a distance. Exorcism is out. Fortification already being popped. There's no defense for these bottom racks. VGJ Thunder clean up a full set. And all Fnatic can do is stand at a difference and look. Top lane Universe will at least manage to find a split push onto the tier 2 tower, but the rolling comes through. They have the Roar. Universe trying for the kill. Backups there from Yang. He's trying to help out his boy Fade. Will it be enough to keep him alive? The Necrobook's chasing Fade down. He's trying to keep himself alive with the urn charges. Can those here little Necros kill him? Oh, the blink out will be there. And Yang, of course, will finish off Universe. So Yang able to make sure that Fade gets the chance to get out of there. Universe does get that tier 2 tab, but still, just the overall flow of the game massively going in favor of VGJ Thunder, as this Terrorblade really is unstoppable at this stage. They'll find him here. They're going to try for a kill.
This could be huge.
Let's see what they can do. Put the BKB. He is just running it off. They do get a very good duration of the static link. Envy with his own BKB trying to find some kills. Will get DDC. Now they'll turn towards Sylar. Sylar with the self-fuels, buying himself some time. The rest of the team coming forward, but they've got to be careful. The damage coming out from Fnatic. This Envy Arbed combo in these team fights not to be understated at this stage of the game, despite the fact that they're behind in farm. Envy punches into Yang, brings him down low. They have lost 2 on Fnatic. Now they're able to get 3 of VGJ Thunder, and they get that big pick on Sylar as well. Yang heading forward, maybe seeing if he can get some extra bonus kills for VGJ Thunder to settle the score, but Envy's out of there. Will get himself away. A perfect target to jump in on there. They don't kill the Terrorblade, but the fact that they catch him means that VGJ Thunder have to react and lose 3 of their own lives themselves in an attempt to make sure that Freeze does not die.
And they stepped so much damage during that whole chase that it ended up being Death Prophet just dying very easily.
Yeah.
She had all these utility items, but she doesn't have any armor yet, so she actually just got shredded.
Universe. He's got the Roar. Gets the Disruptor.
Did they get him?
I think he may be dead. I'll have to wait for the Chronos report on that.
Oh, they're chasing TB now. He's got BKB again, though.
May be forced to pop it. See how safe Freeze plays indeed. Spots the BKB, not messing around. In fact, with Messer and Fade jumping in with a punch, they'll claim a kill themselves. DJ will fall. Yang actually finding the avalanche onto Universe. Universe able to get himself away with a boosted movement speed from the Shadow Blade.
So Fnatic making some ground here. They've recovered a lot of the gems as well. One of them is on Beastmaster at the moment, so he'll just stay on the map, grab bounty runes, heal back to full, and then he'll wait for A to get his ultimate again. So they can still get these kills. They're still creating some space on the map. And every BKB pop that comes from Terrorblade, it just gets closer and closer to Fnatic being happy.
Yeah.
That's more magic damage. He'll be more affected by Ice Blast and other spells. So still looking great for Freeze. He does a ton of damage.
And still yet to die.
It's going to be even harder now, though. Hurricane Pike finished. So he can dodge, get away from problems. Every time that he gets static linked, instantly you just use Force Staff on the Razor. Razor's gone. Let's use BKB, of course, but...
We've got Roshan. Relatively short respawn time, back in 40 seconds, so if VGJ Thunder can get their hands on it, it could be quite something. And obviously last time we did see Fnatic, sure, they lost the team fight in sense of heroes around the pit, but as you were mentioning at the time, they were able to deny VGJ Thunder themselves from getting the Aegis under their belt, so we'll see if they're able to make that sort of play again when VGJ Thunder do inevitably look towards the pit.
Universe is hoping for a roaming support. Maybe they'll take the courier instead. Probably not worth it. You can probably get on the way back, actually. Might also cut the wave. He knows that VGJ Thunder does want to push here. But it'll make it hard for them to do so.
Yeah, looks like VGJ Thunder, if anything, are maybe just trying to find a pick before they go there. Only a little bit respectful of this, as they do start to split up and look to push in some of these side lanes after that mid lane does get cut away from them. Sylar up towards the top, Yang down bottom. Is working towards that AC as of next after his Blink Force, Shadow Blade, S and Y. So, of course, it's incredibly mobile, Tiny.
Yeah, he's going to be the carry too, maybe. He's got a lot of health. Getting bursted down by like AA damage is pretty unlikely. Envy's shifted into a halberd now, so he's all in on evasion essentially. This is actually pretty smart. When I saw just the Solar Crest, I thought this was just kind of like a typical Envy value play. But buying both items together, I think, is actually amazing, because TB never really wants to stop and be like, let me just fit an MKB into this. He wants to get more agility, more stats. Now he finally sees that he has to. He queues up the MKB. No butterfly for TB, and this prevents their heroes from having MKB.
Oh, and here we go. Straight away to kick off the fight. They managed to find Sylar. Static Storm is down. Arbev pops the BKB. They're looking to chase. Defensive Yules comes out, but it won't be enough to save Sylar. Sylar will fall. Arbev with the BKB continuing to push forward, pushing apart VGJ Thunder. Freeze pops his own BKB, trying to get involved in the fight, looking towards Envy. The homing missile connects onto Yang. Yang, this tankiness of the Tiny will be enough to keep him alive, and Envy, he's in a bit of trouble now. Maybe not. The halberd comes through. They've managed to disarm this Terrorblade, pushing him back, and with no BKB, he's in trouble, Freeze. He's surrounded. Fnatic are falling low, but they all survive, Kevin. Nobody dies on Fnatic, and they team wipe VGJ Thunder.
That's insane. No one dies? I can't believe that. I mean, the Sunder was used pretty early in that fight, and it looked okay that still... But all of a sudden, they just went all in trying to kill Eternal Envy on the Razor, and it just didn't work out.
It was absolutely, as you said, that halberd timing that he picks up, really limiting the damage output of Freeze in that fight. That extra bit of evasion certainly helping keeping the big boy alive, and now that lead just down to a 2k advantage for VGJ Thunder, as well as the fact that for that little bit of a defense, Freeze, he did pop the buyback as well, so Fnatic, they are absolutely climbing themselves back into this one. If you can have a look at the net worth graph, a huge up and down there. Sure, it shows 5k, but that's going to be even sharper veering off after the time ticks in. What a turnaround, and
no kidding.
About a 6k gold swing off the back of that fight for Fnatic.
Just an incredible team fight there. I mean, if he skips Hurricane Pike, maybe gets MKB, perhaps that fight goes better. I don't know if it would have been enough gold, but man, the fight just felt so hard there. Terrorblade had to all in, and he just got cleaned up eventually with Sables. DJ definitely coming at the right time. Magnetize felt so powerful despite BKBs.
DJ Husper, he's had a few deaths early on, but now really making sure that VGJ Thunder feel his wrath. And the big thing as well, these fights where they're able to find an opening, they jump onto Sylar. There's no exorcism that they have to worry about in the fights. With one core out of the team fight, Fnatic, they've got a huge advantage having the Razor and Gyro themselves with a lot of potency. And Fnatic, they'll move into the pit, but VGJ Thunder, they're heading over.
Honestly, this Razor build that Envy's doing with the evasion, I think it's really given this huge timing window, despite being behind. Well, here comes the fight.
Can they do anything about it? On the side they're trying, but DJ's immediately there with a boulder smash. Yang will be there to block up the roll, but for Fnatic, they're fine with that because they get the space. They've managed to find the kill onto Roshan, get the Aegis, jump forward onto the side. They're looking for Freeze. Freeze falling incredibly low, will be able to force himself back there with the help of his teammates. DDC taking heavy damage from the flat cannon. He should fall as the final hit flies in from Abed. Fnatic, they've lost two. Xyla with the exorcism up. This is the power that VGJ Thunder were missing in the last fight. With this Death Prophet, with the ult up, things certainly start to change. Heavily in favor. They'll look towards Abed, the aggressive Thunder, bringing him down low. Abed will fall as Xyla lands upon his head as Yang tosses him in. And Fnatic, again, these fights, they got the Roshan kill as well as the Aegis, but once again, that area of the map around the pit seems to be a bit of a dead zone for Fnatic.
And they're going high ground now. Is there a refresher shard, or was that only second? Either way,
that was the second.
They're hitting high ground. They've got Metamorphosis. They just used it. Oh, this is actually really bad for Fnatic now.
They are going to lose a Rex for sure, you would imagine. I mean, they do have a buyback available on Arbet, but unlikely to want to use it to protect this Rex. You have to accept that this one is just gonzo with the pushing power of the Metamorphosis from Freeze. They'll buy back now, but the Rex are already gone. They do go in for a big play there with the 3-man silence and Boulder Smash. Envy's got the BKB. Freeze pops his own BKB, but the Roar comes out. They've got the static link building up. Heavy physical damage from Envy comes through, meaning there's no time for Freeze to get back into this one. The buyback there from Arbed as Fnatic show their hand. They want to take the team fight, and they get it. And they know that that Terrorblade, he's down for 85 seconds and does not have buyback available.
Guaranteed Envy's on the mic right now. Go mid,
Absolutely.
multiple times. A little weird for them to hold buyback all the way until the end there, but they finally found the opening, and that's what they're waiting for. If they press buyback, VGJ just backs up, and they're not necessarily going to commit, so they wait for the opportunity, they grab the Terrorblade, and killing him, huge advantage.
Absolutely, as you say, just such a smart play in that sort of the hesitation and timing with Arbed's buyback. He knows that Rex is gone, but he knows they can look for bigger targets. Yang does manage to find himself a bit of a snow cone back at the base as Pilot Eye is gone. But still, there's this time, 50 seconds without the Terrorblade. Yang will go for the TP back to base, so he'll be there to help out with this defense. But Arbed and Envy, they're knocking on the doorstep of VGJ Thunder. How long until they've got Exorcism back up? It's back in 15 seconds. This tier 3 is going to fall just as quickly as their own did there. We'll go for the jump in though. In fact, the Static Storm is big. Catches 3. Arbed pops the BKB, not messing around, stands his ground, continues to punch into the rack. They desperately want this Fnatic, but they might not get it. There's the jump forward. VGJ Thunder, they're keeping Fnatic off the base. Turnarounds there. Arbed, they've got to keep that man alive, but they can't. Arbed's down now. He's the core without buyback for 100 seconds. Envy, he's trying to man up. DJ's going to come back in with the plays. The stun comes through. They're onto 3. Yang holding them all down. He's still alive. Yang, is he going to survive? The Magnetize will be enough to finish him off, but Fnatic have lost 4. VGJ Thunder are holding this defense. DJ will get glimpsed back, surrounded by Sylar and DDC. They'll lose another as Envy will buy back, but now the tables are turned back in favor of VGJ Thunder. They've got this minute. There's no Gyrocopter, but there's a Terrorblade with Metamorphosis. There's a Death Prophet with Exorcism at the ready to push into that base.
He's got a DD as well. This is so bad for Fnatic here. 2 dead heroes for 50 seconds.
I mean, they can just go base, can't they? Double damage, Metamorphosis, Exorcism. You just end the game. You know that Arbed's not got buyback. They tried for the big ball play there, Fnatic, but it is not looking to pay off as Freeze mantles off. The Cold Feet stands his ground. They've exposed the ancient VGJ Thunder, looking to draw this series to a game 3. Pilot Eye will fall on the side. Envy is going to try his best with the lead in. They'll buy back on Pi. They have to somehow peel VGJ Thunder away from the ancient, but Sylar, he's not messing around. He's looking for objectives. He's focusing it down with the exorcism. The ancient will fall, and we are going to a game 3 as one of the most back and forth endings there, and just sort of quick turnarounds that I've seen in a while, ends up favoring VGJ Thunder. They just couldn't get enough done, Fnatic, with that big timing of the Terrorblade being down.
It looked great for Fnatic in that moment, but Yang, I think, making the crucial play. Going back, knowing that there were 2 racks, somebody's going to have to defend the base. He gets the easy kill on A. That means no Ice Blast. That means no easy kill in the other side of the map. So it just made Fnatic, it put them in this like weird kind of all-in play with only their 3 cores. They do good tower damage, but not that much tower damage. So only got the tower, ends up getting chased down. Maybe should have popped BKBs a little earlier. Perhaps Envy traded the cheese for the Static Storm. Maybe should have been the other way around. But either way, Fnatic definitely fighting against that game. But I truly feel like TB, he is basically the hero that, in a lot of ways, beats Gyro, beats Razor, these
Yes.
BKB cores,
Yeah.
and they got the last pick him, and it put Fnatic in this bad spot, and then Fnatic's lanes also didn't go ideal.
Yeah, and I think one of the big sort of components of that was Fade's Tusk. You know, this
Yes.
guy's Tusk looking very, very good, and up to the very last minute as well. Though that sort of last play when it came to that defense, there was still about 10 seconds when the TV was down, but he was just straight in with the blink punch. He just wanted to get Fnatic off his base, and it set up for the victory.
Yeah, he did amazing, actually. He knows exactly where to put the ice shards to make a wall that you can't pass, and it just guarantees a good fight for your team.
Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. The excitement continues to build up here at GSC as we will be going to a Game 3 as VGJ Thunder bring the series to 1-1 against Fnatic.
Indeed, and in what fashion they did that. That was a very exciting game to watch, and I think it should have been a little bit more clear that VGJ Thunder was going to take that at the end, but Fnatic definitely put up one hell of a fight, guys, here in the House of Capitalist. What a game!
Wow. I don't think that game's supposed to be that good. I think VGJ Thunder is supposed to win that at 30 minutes, and fairly straightforward. And the funny thing is, like 20 minutes in, I had my post-game speech basically written, because one of my issues
Likewise.
with Fnatic is, like, Abed, when he's on his big four traditional mid heroes, he looks like a top 5 mid, right? But when he's on a different hero, he looks solid, but not necessarily an all-world player. And I was just about to say that, and all of a sudden, he just goes off. He almost won them the game on his gyrocopter. And I give Fnatic a lot of credit for hanging in, but at the end of the day, Terrorblade's just too far ahead.
You know, I can't help but feeling like some of this is the philosophy of Eternal Envy. It's a reason why he's able to apply so many comebacks. It's why, like, his mentality is, like, you know, when you're behind, create chaos and that sort of thing. I feel like, in general, Envy teams are always unlocked when they don't have many options and they just have to go and do something. And I feel like Fnatic were in that spot, right? Where 25, 30 minutes, where they know at that point in time, we have to play super active. We have to play in their face. We want to be able to force out these exorcisms, force out these metamorphoses. And they started looking like a little bit like TNC and the way that they were doing really well to be able to kite around these longer cooldown abilities and just either play the team fight around it or even just like force the ultimate and back away. So there were so many situations where Fnatic, in that one like 5-8 minute window or something, they almost turned the game around from like a 10k gold lead to absolutely nothing by just like back-to-back forcing fights over and over again, because they know if they're left inside their base and they let VGJ Thunder set up for that push, it's the end of the game. It's already over. So they just had to go for it, and again, they just seemed to
But it almost
perform.
worked.
No, I think you actually nailed it, because VGJ, as is typical of a lot of the, and I don't like to necessarily perpetuate these stereotypes, but as is typical of a lot of the Chinese teams, they do like to play a little bit methodically. They like to just have their very precise timings when they're ahead. Okay, this is when we're going to go win the game. And Fnatic was like, no, we're gonna make you fight 2 minutes before that. We're gonna make you feel like you have to play a little bit of defense, even though you have this Terrorblade that's like way out in front. So I thought they played really well, but yeah, at the end of the day, I mean, Terrorblade, Purge at the very end in the post-game mentioned the Terrorblade matchup against the cores, but Terrorblade's also like probably the core that cares the least about getting ice blasted, because that Sunder is a unique manipulation. It's direct HP manipulation, so it's one of the few things that can quote-unquote heal through the AA Ice Blast.
I really like that he pointed out Fade. I felt like the Tusk choice, the third pick Tusk, very important to be able to enable the Death Prophet. Otherwise, Sylar definitely would not have had such a good game. The combination of the offensive Ice Shards blocks, the defensive Snowball saves, I think all around Fade was critically important to both of their core success. He even saved Freeze a couple times. So
Yeah, and that first point of the Nuggets definitely is just credit to Fnatic's skill in playing from behind, that they're able to take the fights. I mean, you mentioned it, so won't really go too deep into that again. But that was, I mean, that's incredible. That is just Fnatic, and that is just a team that you always have to be very careful going high ground.
And that's, I mean, the gyro was the game high in hero damage. I mean, Abed really did. I love the Twitch chat stat though. That's absolutely classic.
Yeah.
what about the stat on 644 though?
I mean,
yeah.
It was such a back and forth game.
It was so back and forth.
Laning phase, all important, continues to be in this meta.
Yeah.
And this is part of the reason that VGJ Thunder looks so good, is that their laning phase, they set themselves up pretty well. It's always tough. The gyrocopter is like this, I feel like it's a dual-edged sword in the regard that it is both a hero that you need to be able to enable his laning phase, but also he does very well once you do enable his laning phase because he's able to output so much damage because he threatens offlaner so well with homing missile, etc., etc. So it's both like the best offense, but in some ways it could just completely fall apart if you're able to shut it down. Here we see one of the higher points. Ancient Apparition and Gyrocopter just looks to be so deadly. And then they've got this Terrorblade to deal with, and that last pick really secured it.
It really did.
It was like
very impressed with the Yang Tiny.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, it just felt like VGJ gave themselves a lineup where they could be the ones making the moves rather than playing purely reactionary as they did in game one.
Yeah, it's like if they have this Terrorblade safe lane and they're keeping this poor Beastmaster down, and the Gyrocopter Ancient Apparition are kind of like getting by against the Tiny, but like they're not able to do enough because the Terrorblade just comes in. He's the superior core against them. So I think last pick, save VGJ Thunder.
Yeah,
sure.
And I think this game that we just watched was definitely showing VGJ Thunder from the better angle compared to compared to game one. This is the VGJ Thunder that we were expecting coming in today, right?
Yeah,
it's their final form.
I mean, I think they are executing very, very well, and if they get, the hero pool is not quite there yet. They're vulnerable in the draft, but if they get these lineups that they're comfortable with, they're going to be very, very hard to beat. But Fnatic almost did it.
I know. It's very scary. I think both teams have learned a lot from the first two games. There's going to be one third game, though, to decide which one of these two teams will move forward to the semifinals and will be on top of their group. We're going to have to take a short breather, quick break, but then we're back for game 3, so stay tuned. to a major here, of course, in Jakarta, Indonesia, with Nahaz and Capitalist. And if you're wondering which two teams are playing, it is Fnatic and VGJ Thunder. It is 1-1 in this best of 3, and spectacular game 2. Both basically a little bit of mistakes, I guess, from both teams, but also good plays from both teams. I do believe that it should have been easier for VGJ Thunder to take that. I just want to preface with that, because if you look at the two forms of the teams, both have 1-1. I thought Fnatic's win was a little bit more convincing. Can I say it like that?
I think that's right. I think that Fnatic made some really good plays to keep themselves in that game, but at the end of the day, again, I look at it as Fnatic do, given where these two teams are right now, and both works in progress, as are all teams at this point in the season, Fnatic do need to give themselves a bit more of an advantage in the draft. And I thought Cap had a great point in that last one, calling the importance of the first pick, Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter's current incarnation as a core first arose in China. It was the Chinese teams that first started picking Gyro first phase consistently. VGJ Thunder know how to deal with that. And even without the Luna here counter the Gyro, it was pretty clear that that pick, it didn't phase them.
Do you think they'll do it again? Because I thought Fnatic, I was pretty comfortable with their draft in the first 3 picks, where they have their Gyro and their 2 supports versus the Death Prophet and their 2 supports. I don't know. I felt kind of good about it, mostly because they had Ancient Apparition versus the Death Prophet. They could have kept that saving support, that 4-position Tusk away from VGJ Thunder. I would have been even more appreciative of the drafting position Fnatic was in. But if I was them, I would think about maybe not straying away from that same opening pick, just switching some of maybe the bans or something.
I think that if you look at why Tiny is so contested, right? The Razor pick 4, which you can't argue too much with because it is one of NB's best heroes, and Abed played a really good Gyrocopter. But you pick the Razor 4th as a counter to the Tiny. Once you see that, but it doesn't matter because you can just throw Tiny in the off lane, and all of a sudden he's countering the 3rd core instead of one of the big 2, right? That's where, to me, VGA Thunder really got back into that draft and started to take the advantage.
Yeah, and it seemed like the interesting thing was that Fnatic, I think Tiny, they'd only done like offlane Tiny once before. On the form of Yang, so it wasn't something that they regularly do. They much prefer to be running it on Siler and Freeze. But the interesting thing is that Fnatic still had this idea that they were going to be running that pushing core, and I think it was simply the only way to really be able to solve that draft. And Terrorblade was perfect. They ended up banning away the Luna. I think that still would have enabled the lineup that they had going on there. But either way, I don't know. I feel like Fnatic should still be okay with Gyrocopter. I think it's still an open enough pick. Less bullish on the Razor and Beastmaster, but
I see. Yeah, that was the thing. That was the other thing I wanted to make sure that we talked about before we go into that is the Beastmaster pick, because Beastmaster has been a huge pick for Fnatic as well as for EG, but he just felt like nothing in this game.
He had a really rough lane, though.
Yeah.
Do you think it was mostly the lane?
Yeah, I do, because I think there's something. The Beastmaster needs to be able to have like a decent enough lane, and then he wants to be able to have that situation where he's like shoving out a wave, he's axing, he kills that creep wave, and then he goes jungles and throws some more axes and kills those jungles. And I didn't really feel like Universe was getting that pace of game. And I'm not sure what it was. Maybe VGJ Thunder was just like taking too much map control. They were taking too many objectives and not letting him have that opening. I think that Fnatic were trying to create the space for him with the Gyrocopter and the Razor. It just wasn't quite working well enough. So I think the one thing you see Evil Geniuses, I don't think they ever really leave. They never really sack a Beastmaster. Usually they enable it with dual lanes, but even when it's a solo hero, I feel like they never actually let it get sacked that badly. So maybe it's just one of those offlaners that can't afford that kind of start.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, to me, a Beastmaster in this meta, Beastmaster is an amazing hero if he can threaten those 1v1 kills. If he can't, if he doesn't have that early Necro Book, if he can't like roam around the map and you have to worry about him seeing you, he's just the hero's like, okay.
Yeah, Terrorblade is not one of those heroes that's threatened by
Yeah.
the physical damage of the Beastmaster. It's just like time and time again, I keep on seeing like those aggro dual lanes and aggro trine lanes that were more focused on physical damage going up against these Terrorblades, and
Right.
the Terrorblade just gets perfectly fine CS every single time. So if sometimes an aggro dual lane doesn't work out, like and can't threaten the Terrorblade, there's no way a Beastmaster's ever going to be able to do that by himself.
Having the highest base armor in the game is good.
Yeah. What does he start at,
You'd
6
say
or
so.
7?
I think he's 8.
Yeah, that was crazy, man.
All right, drafting time, guys. Fnatic, they do ban out the gyrocopter, so we won't see that. It is going to be first pick going the way of VGJ Thunder this game, so they don't want to give that away. When they played the first game, they banned the Lycan, the Gyro, and the Elder Titan. Elder Titan is still in the pool, but they could go for the same route if they want to. I mean, it was successful that time. And VGJ had the Omni Knight first pick at that point, and we weren't really too happy with that at that point.
Still,
Yeah.
though, Fnatic
So-
did ban it last game. Maybe it was
Yeah.
just the difference of the first and second pick situation.
Oh, they banned out the Razor. Look at that, changing it up.
Are they telling VGJ Thunder, go for it, pick the Omni again? It seems like both of these drafts have had a very clear bait of the opening pick.
Exactly.
And I think those sort of baits, you should always feel comfortable being able to open a support and then get your second pick core once you see the opposing two. But VGJ Thunder's still going to go for their Death Prophet.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you think about the Nature's Prophet ban? Respect for the support Prophet coming out from Fnatic earlier today. Is that a surprising first phase ban? Or is that...
I mean, yes, in the sense that it's statistically not very likely that NP is going to get banned, but you see more and more against the teams that do run it as a support,
Yeah,
it starts to be worth the ban in the first phase.
they look really good with it.
Much,
similar
much
to the
better
way the
open.
EG.
I really like this hero. I feel like the number of aggro dual lanes it can seriously threaten in is huge. I feel like it can stop pushes by itself under a lot of circumstances. Just gives you a lot of control.
I wonder if they'll take the Ancient Apparition against this Death Prophet, because it will also take away from VGJ Thunder. I don't know if VGJ Thunder has ever done this, but the Ancient Apparition versus the Elder Titan laning phase situation.
That is so
is
much
kind of
better.
Interesting.
So I really love the Fnatic Shadow Shaman at the beginning of these drafts. That is going to be DJ on that hero, and basically what it does is it means that you have so much freedom in your last 3 picks, because similarly to how you were talking about VGJ really having to pick the TB in the last game, because you need a core that hits towers, and in most cases you need 2. Picking the Shadow Shaman at the beginning of the draft, they give DJ a ton of farm on this hero, and it means that you can get away with these cores like OD, who are hero killers, rather than forced to hit towers.
It's always dangerous when DJ's on one of those heroes that is able to take objectives.
Yep.
I
I mean, he gets ags like around 25 minutes with this hero pretty consistently, and it's really hard to deal with at that point if Fnatic have any kind of are even in the game, much less ahead.
So how do you prepare for that? Because it's a Shadow Shaman pick 2, so they got 3 picks to prepare.
You run at it.
Yeah, so you're gonna
You
go fight.
Like Shadow Shaman, well, in lane specifically, like
Yeah.
Shadow Shaman he feels like such a great hero if you can get through the laning phase and to the point where you're dropping wards on towers. But in the laning phase, at least early on, you're slow. You have a fairly efficient level 1 nuke, but the rest of your spells are very expensive. Getting run at as a Shadow Shaman in lane is really crappy.
Yeah, you don't like multiple heroes in your lane. You like a solo offlaner, especially one that doesn't like summon anything. Like Furion's one of the few solo offlaners that actually deals with Shadow Shaman relatively well. Sand King, Bat Rider, I think are both pretty acceptable. Some nice aggressive team fighting style heroes. I think if you're VGJ Thunder, you want to make sure that you're not just aggressive, but you're also securing yourself the initiation. Because if Fnatic's lineup, their opening of this 4 and 5 position gives them no real good initiation for the most part. Shadow Shaman's more the split pusher and reactive hero, wants to set down wards. ET, same thing there, very reactive. Oftentimes not the one setting the pace of the game and how the fight sets up.
So we already said that this meta, and especially today, we've seen a lot of the teams that win the laning stage win the game. this could be one that is not the case, because it looks like Fnatic is gonna just want to play even in the lane, and they're gonna be happy with that, because that.
Well, the thing is that if they run some sort of aggro dual lane, Fnatic are going to do the same with their ET, so they can also try and win their lane. That being said, VGJ Thunder's safe lane heroes for Sylar are usually really effective at dealing with that kind of pressure. We saw the way that, you know, like his Weaver, when it was trying to be pressured, he was really good at being able to deal with that. It's a good fighting hero that can actually get kills.
Yeah, when Fnatic last used this open just like a day ago in the Starlight qualifiers against TNC, they came out with the Tidehunter, 3rd pick, and I think that's pretty good here. I mean, you are picking it into a disruptor, so that's a little scary, but I still like you secure the team fight presence, because that's one of the things that Elder Titan really needs, a kind of an AoE setup, and the Shadow Shaman. Yeah, fine, DJ's going to get his farm, he's going to get his blink, his ags early on, but you really want an AoE teamfight presence for Universe.
I wonder if VGJ will get their Night Stalker here. It's not banned.
I actually really like that as a suggestion.
Their Night Stalker or Death
Possibly
Prophet
even the
is
Underlord
really
here.
Interesting.
Well, let's see what Fnatic is going for. They gotta select some cores. So they already have revealed their support. You feel like there's any reason for them to wait with their mid lane? Are we assuming that this mid lane is going to be mid? Obviously, we did see it offlane earlier, or was it a Sylar Death Prophet?
I think it's fairly open.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think they're determined one way or another yet.
It's a bit of a block pick, too. Very nice.
More push coming out for them as well. I mean, that's something that VGJ Thunder can still work against, right?
It gives you a it gives you a very solid. You know, you do still have an aggro lane as an option, but we talked about the Luna Rubik in the last series as being just a very powerful defensive dual lane. You know, same goes for Luna Rasta.
It just feels like Fnatic is revealing a lot about their plan, and it seems kind of obvious, and I'm wondering if I'm missing something.
Now, the lanes are still pretty flexible, though.
Sure, the lanes are flexible, but you do know what type of game it's going to be, right? Or is that doesn't matter too much?
I mean, again, you have the kind of two look. We talked about the Tidehunter being the 3rd pick, but when they last used this open, it was Tidehunter 3rd, but then they went Luna and SF as 4-5.
Yeah.
So they can still go very greedy or very tempo-oriented, depending on their last 2 picks. Like, they could take a Dragon Knight here, and they become very, very tempo-oriented. Or they take an SF, and they become more of a farming lineup.
So we saw a couple games where Disruptor was picked up and some teams picked Tide into it. I really like a sustain hero, like the
Big time.
The Tide,
Underlord.
maybe Underlord. I'm not so sure about the Underlord just because you have the Shadow Shaman, who is your kind of split pushing hero. So I'm not sure how much I want to overlap into that.
More to me, like especially with this kind of a lineup, like more split push, not necessarily a bad thing.
But the thing is like, no matter what it is, it's like a nice pipe hero that even if the Static Storm is a problem for you, you just make sure that you're not so much the target.
Hey, does that count?
That's actually
a little different, but
that's pretty sick.
It's the hero that Liquid and VP very frequently picked up against any of these Terrorblades or Death Prophets.
Right.
Is it does it count as a somewhat sustain hero?
Yeah, I mean, as long as there's no like attack speed skills on the other team, as long as there's no like Ursa, Phantom Assassin, something like that on the other team, then Enchantress, yeah, she's actually quite tanky.
It's surprising that they pick it up 4th. They could have maybe thrown an extra curveball or something.
All right. Sand King, a Bat Rider. Apparently they're gonna get both of them. Cool.
Right.
Initiation, team fight, all important, and they're just gonna double down on that. I figured they'd get one or the other, not necessarily both.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. It's like Bat Rider is good versus Enchantress.
Yes.
I think you know, again, it's like all about initiation, team fight. I think your lanes can go well here.
Yeah, it's, you know, the other thing, of course, that Enchantress is vulnerable to is magic damage, and it's very possible because of her innate movement speed and range, very possible to play around one traditional offlane initiator. A lot harder to play around 2. So you're talking about having to play around now the Static Storm as well as the Epi and the Lasso and the Burrow Strike becomes a much harder Enchantress game to play.
So I was feeling like Lifestealer or Phantom Lancer for VGJ Thunder. Oh look, Lifestealer's banned.
Yeah, I like the Lifestealer.
Lifestealer Bat Rider duo against an Enchantress, and it's a hero natural magic immunity. I'm also fine with Juggernaut.
Jug is the one I was going to bring
Yep.
up. Yeah.
Some extra sustain with that.
I
as well.
don't know what Fnatic's hero though is. That's actually more intriguing to me because I do feel like you kind of need some sort of frontliner, but it's an Abed hero that's going to be picked up, right?
Yep.
I
In
still
mid,
like-
I would
so-
imagine so.
I still like Dragon Knight.
Yeah.
I think Dragon. I
Okay.
think DK's fine.
Yeah, I
And
think
Abed does play
DK's.
it.
I think DK's. I'm down with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
we have a Death Prophet matchup.
I think you could
It's
still
okay.
pick OD, but that feels a little bit. Again, you talk about overlap, right?
Yeah, the one thing is I want to make sure VGJ Thunder just can't run over
Yes.
Fnatic, right?
Yes.
I think they're a little bit in danger of that. I would be maybe okay with something like a puck. Well, you got Disruptor, so never mind.
They went for Medusa instead.
Oh my.
Oh, you know, if this is
That-
actually very similar to a lineup
OD,
that they had
OD.
before.
OD.
If you replace VGJ Thunder's Sand King with Night Stalker, I think it was like one of their group stage games right here, their draft.
Mm.
Come on, this is so Fnatic had this done to them
Yeah.
in the last tournament, right? They fifth picked an Abed Medusa and they got OD'd, and it just looks so bad for the Medusa.
Yeah. Then again, I saw another game where I saw like OD versus Dusa, like easy win, but it didn't actually end up that way. So I feel like the matchup is like it's advantageous for the OD, but it's not like
Not as much as we
yeah,
thought.
you can't completely overcome it. I think. So.
If it's
What
not
else
going to
is
be
good here?
OD, what type? What hero? DK?
Animation.
Oh my God, no. No, I
Maybe like
mean,
a PL or something.
Yeah, PL is
Yeah.
still.
Because how greedy can they be with their final pick?
Once they see a Dusa, they can
They
can get
They
away
could be
you
as
have
greedy
a
as they
lot,
want to
yeah,
be.
You have a lot of room to be.
It will be
greedy.
a tiny. You don't sound very excited, Naz.
It's not the same as some of the tinies that we've seen before. There was a tiny versus Dusa matchup in Bucharest, but it was enabled by an ancient apparition that really allowed them to just hunt down the Luna whenever she was jungling a lot. So, but you still have a lot of follow up with the Bat Rider, with the Sand King.
Yeah, I'm just not convinced. Like, I look at this tiny as he wants to be able to jump in and kill somebody, but he's got a lot. Once he jumps in and kills somebody, he's probably gonna die. Like, he's got a ton of stuff to play around here.
Yeah.
So which draft are we favoring? Who's gonna take this third game?
I like the VGJ draft quite a bit.
VGJ?
I'm kind of even on them. I feel like this Death Prophet lineup has a lot of team fight. VGJ is like very much in their comfort zone.
Yeah.
That being said, I think Fnatic can snowball with their tiny. Really important that he gets off to a
Alright.
good start and he starts hunting down the Luna and everything. And yeah, I think they could possibly do it. Just enable tiny.
So let's see if Fnatic is going to snowball to victory here, or if VGJ Thunder is going to team fight their way through to the semifinals and to the top of the Group B. Over to a commentary team of OD Pixel and Purge.
Thank you very much, Chief. And there we have it. Game 3, ladies and gentlemen, between the sides of Fnatic and VGJ Thunder. We've just seen the drafts. VGJ Thunder, they have got that big old hero for freeze. This hero that if the game goes late could get out of control. We saw what he did on the Terrorblade. But vice versa, over on the side of Fnatic, they've got a lot of wombo combo. They get Arbed, this incredibly active core with that final pickup, finishing with the Tiny. Do you like the Tiny in this situation?
I think it's pretty good, yeah. They can pick off a lot of heroes that aren't Medusa, basically. Heroes like Death Prophet are going to be vulnerable the whole game, especially with an Elder Titan to back him up, just even more magic damage. And so, like, the synergy that Elder Titan just amplifies Tiny and Luna, I like that part a lot. They should have relatively good disables. I think Tiny as a core is actually really good this game because VGJ Thunder has a lot of disable, which means that all of his status resistance is going to pay dividends big time against like Bat Rider and Sand King and heroes like Disruptor in some ways. So I don't know. I think Fnatic can make it work, and their lanes are also pretty strong. So yeah, well, we'll see how it goes. I'm a little unsure at this point.
I mean, talking about the lanes, do you think we are going to see Fnatic put a bit more attention towards freeze in the earlier stages so it doesn't end up being a bit of a similar story for his free farm that we saw in Game 2?
I'm not sure. I don't know if they need to put that much effort into him, I
Okay.
guess. I feel like they can kind of go on their trajectory. Like, it takes a long time for Medusa to actually be a big damage threat.
Sure. It's a little
And-
bit different to the Terrorblade.
And no matter what happens, she's still going to have low armor later against another Titan potentially. So I feel like they might have some longevity here. I mean, Universes can be able to pressure, obviously, which is pretty effective in lane against a hero like DP. So I don't know. I'm not completely sure. I guess I don't fully understand the two lineups just yet. We'll see how they work.
Top Salah DDC will be able to make sure that DJ, he's going to try and go in for the rune steal and will not be able to grab it. Salah gets the rune, but now, in fact, gets beat down a little bit. Universe does try and slow him and control him if they go in with the right clicks, but a quick siphon skill will make sure that Salah is safe. As the runes will fall. 3 actually going the way of VGJ Thunder.
I do like this
Actually-
lane for VGJ on the bot lane though. Sand King plus Bat Rider is a really big threat against a hero like Shadow Shaman because he's so slow. I think his lane is going to be pretty tough. And even Luna doesn't really feel too strong until like level 2, level 3. Might be a tough one here. In the mid lane, Tiny versus a Medusa should be a pretty Tiny favorite matchup, I feel like. At least in the first couple of waves in terms of last hit power. But I guess if she drains enough mana, it could be the other way.
See down bottom, and Pi has to be a bit careful how close he gets as the napalm stacks are being kept high upon him. You know, making sure that Pi has to be very careful, especially with that Sand King hanging around with him as well. Freeze at the moment, that first wave or so.
I thought he was-
Decent job actually of getting the edge. You say despite the fact that Tiny does have that extra bit of punch.
It's not very good for Pi here. It's going to be hard to get the kill. He's got a juke. Yanks has so much HP. Yeah, that's a guaranteed kill. Envy will get the return one at least, so that's not all bad. But probably a lot better for VGJ.
Yeah, they get that extra bit of money there for the first blood. On the way of Fade, and Fade staying strong, and Envy, of course, on his own for a little bit of time, whilst Pi has to potentially make himself back his way back to the lane. Does mean a bit of time where Envy has to play extra careful on this bottom lane.
Yeah, bring in Envy's items basically. That'll give him a full magic wand and a Wraith Band here. That's actually not bad. We'll transition him okay. Ooh, here comes the dive though. This is actually really bad for Pi now. He doesn't have shackles. He can't stop this.
Yeah, look at the creeps. Put them at the tower. There's no threat at the tower for VGJ as they can just move in and take kills as they wish. Pi will fall. As Fnatic, this dual lane does have to be careful when the creeps are pushed in as such, and Envy as well. The range of this Firefly Yang, there's a bit of harassment down onto Envy. The stacks are building up, but a quick TP down will be there from DJ to make sure that Yang and Fade back off. But the creep equilibrium proving to be ever so important on that bottom lane for Fnatic. They have to be careful every time he gets pushed to the tower.
One benefit of Shaman dying though is that Envy just picked up a really fast level 3, so he actually contributes a lot more into his lane now. Doesn't yet have boots. Could pick it up if he gets to the side shop. We do see a haste rotation though. This is bad.
Is incredibly low. So Fade walks in with the jump. They'll get it. Highlight high.
He wants the courier. Can he get it?
Look at the speed. He's thinking about it, but in fact he's going to prioritize keeping himself alive. Doesn't want to play around too close to the tower, but Fade making the moves.
Pi's in such a painful position. Like he thought that he could guarantee that Bat Rider kill when he went for it on the bot lane. He ends up dying first. That gives him first blood. He comes back. He dies again. Now he still hasn't picked up level 2. So his hero's walking around with this high damage nuke, but very long cooldown. It's a really bad place for him to be in. He does finally tick over to 2 at least, so he can get a shackle off now. And this is where their lane needs to get a kill.
Yeah, they're putting more attention down at Fnatic with DJ now sort of setting up base around Envy as well. Making sure that he has got the space to farm, and he certainly has been so far. 16 for 5 on Envy's Luna, and as you say, with the way that things have gone, he's getting good experience out of the lane as well. Not too bad of a situation for Envy to be in. Same story to be said for Sylar up top, as his farm will continue on to the Death Prophet. Mid lane, very much close between the two of them. Slight edge for Arbed on his Tiny, but as it is, none of the cores really getting shut out of this early stage of the game. Everyone's farming.
I'd say the heroes that seem extremely behind is just Pi, I guess. Everyone else seems to be in a decent place. DJ doesn't have, just now picking up boots, basically. Those are low under-leveled on that side.
Top lane, they're going to make a bit of a go onto Universe. They have got the Siphon, bringing him down. Crit Swarm will be back up in a second, but DJ's there. They're looking to turn. Moving on to DDC. DDC quick with the Glimpse pack. Will be able to peel back one of them. Universe trying to man up with the right clicks. Universe now with the heal. Will be able to keep himself safe. They look towards Sylar. DJ packing a fair bit of a punch. And that Windlace will get a couple of touches in onto Sylar, but not enough to get that kill off.
Pretty expensive attempt to stay alive there. That was 2 Fairy Fires for Universe, so it just kind of seems like the laning is really difficult for Urban and Fnatic side. Pilot Die almost dies, bot TP's out right after the Burrow Strike. And Batrider's just sitting here hitting creeps. I mean, Luna's sitting fine with last hits, but she's out of mana. She's constantly contested. This kind of reminds me of last game a little.
Freezing that mid lane. Yeah, I'm going to see him get looked towards potentially now as the supports have moved in. It's a bit of a tricky one to get unless they get the toss back, and they do. Arbed straight away, tossing Freeze back into the hands of Pilot Eye. They've got the Spirit out, they surround the Medusa, he'll pop a Fairy Fire. Well, not, or maybe it will. He's got some time with the stick charges and the shield, but there's the toss coming in, the Mango use not enough. As you said, a good attempt from Freeze to try and keep himself alive, but as it were, no TPs to come in from his teammates. He's left alone, and Fnatic do get that big kill onto the Medusa with that support rotation.
I mean, no matter who you are, you might as well go for that kill. Envy looks a little dead here. A bit pressured. His supports can't really show up. No TP on Shadow Shaman. Elder Titan has no mana. That's a dead Luna.
Actually, I think popped a Mango on the way down there, Envy. As it looked to be, as was trying to get one final Lucent Beam out, but as it were, would not have been enough damage. Anyway, top lane, Sylar. Once again, using the Siphon to try and hold Universe back, but 3 points in Untouchable, and just the 1 point in the Nature's Attendance. A very durable hero in this matchup, and Pi, he's headed up here as well. Along with DJ, if they can get any sort of setup.
Damage. He's got 1 tango, he could come through. Here he comes, there he goes.
Oh, this is going to be quite some punching if DJ can get in. Give him the slam, bam, he's gone. They'll find one, they'll look towards DDC. As they will surely get it, or maybe not. They've got the Burrow Strike from Fade. They'll turn towards Fade instead. And they'll probably want to keep diving for this one. They've got a double kill for Universe off the back of it, and they'll get DDC as well. A defense that, at the end of the day, just shouldn't have been attempted upon by VGJ Thunder. As soon as they lose that Death Prophet, the situation becomes ever so sticky for them up top.
That was really nice play by DJ. He's stacked all these camps in the medium area. Stacked the large camp once, stacked the medium camp once. Ancients are stacked at least once, twice now. So he just gets all this bonus damage. All they need is a disable, and they kill anybody. No one can survive from that unless they have like a blink. So easy pickup. If they can get a triple kill like that again, I think they're gonna be firmly in the lead.
Yeah, this is really giving Universe a lot of space and a lot of setup to really enjoy that top lane. Sylar, not to be deterred, straight back into the lane. Does have the Exorcism now leveled up as he hits to level 6, almost in tandem with Envy himself, also getting the 6 online. So Eclipse there. Arbed, level 7, as well as Freeze being so on Medusa. VGJ Thunder looking to make a play up top. They're coming in with a 2-man rotation, but Fnatic, they do have 3 heroes here. They'll put the Exorcism, no messing around, as they'll go straight away on towards Universe. Can DJ buy time for him? He's looking for the Stomp. Isn't going to catch upon anyone. Sylar and Fade able to keep their distance. Universe will pop the stick charges, but the Siphon, the magical damage from VGJ is too much to bring him down. VGJ get 2 as they claim DJ's life. At the same time, though, Fnatic trying to mirror the aggression. They'll look towards Freeze. He's ever so low. Arbed will have Avalanche back up in a second, but Threes, he's out of there. The backup comes in from the bat. They'll turn towards the bat, but in fact, oh no, that toss in from Arbed sets up a bit of an awkward lasso as Pi, he'll pay for that one. Not the toss that Pi was hoping for. Burrow Strike in from Fade. They'll look for more, but they will be able to get the rest of them out of there, Fnatic. Poor old Pi. Just living the support life there as I don't think he even got an apology from Arbed for that.
He's just a target practice piece of paper, that's all he is. It looked like a good play, but then it was just giving your opponent a blink dagger, I guess. Heard that's good on bad.
There was no messing around from Yang, instantly lassoed there. So looking at the XP, I imagine he probably only just had the lasso online. So maybe not quite expecting that quick heads up reaction from Yang. But it came through, and as it stands 7 for 5, slight net worth advantage, but only very much so for VGJ Thunder as this game 3 out of the lanes as it were, definitely sort of stepping up to be the closest game in terms of starts for this series. Lane DDC, get caught up by the Avalanche, but they will survive. Punish off Pi, once again, Fade looking towards Arbed. Arbed quick with the toss back, just before Fade had that Burrow Strike ready.
It's really close. I mean, Abed's doing fine, but he's only got Treads and Soul Ring so far, so I'd say he's just a little bit behind for where he would like to be. That's not terribly. It's hard for him to move around and get kills without having a blink dagger, or his opponent spotting the wards that VGJ's planting are really effective. Lane wards in both lanes just makes the rotations a little bit harder to execute. So they know that if there is a shackle or an avalanche toss on a hero, it's a high chance to kill. They all have the same idea now, hide around top lane.
They've got that Eclipse back up in 20 seconds. Fnatic with the aggression, but the Firefly's out from Yang. He will get slowed down by Universe, getting a couple of impetuses in. But back up at DDC, the Firefly on Yang. Very hard for Fnatic to close that sort of a gap.
Are they going to go bottom now?
Straight up rotation from Universe. This could be something to catch Sylar off guard. They've got the lockdown with the shackles. Sylar tries to step in with the Siphon. He's going to be able to keep himself alive as well, because Fade comes in with a Burrow Strike onto Universe. The Exorcism and the Siphon bringing Universe down low. He is buying time for himself with that Nature's Attendance, and now the TP's come through. They couldn't kill him in time, and the shackles are back up. Pi gets the lockdown. Burrow Strike comes in, but they've lost Sylar. Fade as well. He'll fall in the tree line as Fnatic make the rotation. Glimpse back from DDC as he rips Pilot Eye away from him as the Disruptor tries his best to run his way out and will manage to get out of there. But at the end of the day, that TP from Universe heading up for the play in top lane. Yang comes in, but Envy, he presses R. Eclipse is out as he will burst down the back. Yang unable to get that lasso off before Envy gets the ultimate out. Fnatic across the map, finding themselves 3 very big kills.
Yeah, Pilot Eye definitely making the big plays there. He rotated bottom in anticipation of this tower dying for free, gets the shackles off, and then follow up. Pretty good kills here. Universe is a huge damage dealer at this point too.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that many items, but you don't really need that much on him. On Enchantress to do a lot, just treads, and he's got Aquila as well on a wand. He's hard to kill, does lots of pure damage, and as long as they don't go for Medusa, they can kill all of these heroes.
Be up top, a little far out. Will get knocked back by the Flame Break Fade, and Yang giving him the rundown. He was looking for some farm, and he will not find it. And be taken out at the same time down bottom. DDC and Sylar catch out Pilot Eye, wandering alone. So Fnatic, as we're seeing, making some great plays as a unit, but at the same time, they are still sort of hemorrhaging these little kills as one another tries to push out lane on their own.
Yeah, it's a really hard game for Luna at this point. I mean, her farm level is actually not bad. Envy's only sitting about 300 behind the top net worth leader, but I think that's just the case of everyone's dying this game. It's not just, there isn't like some TB that's just had an easy game. VGJ will get the bot tower though, for free, eventually.
I was going to say, I mean, we've seen a couple of exorcisms in it. It's just the first tower to go at 12 minutes, so maybe VGJ Thunder in an ideal world, they would have taken a bit more at this stage, but finally breaking the structures of Fnatic's side of the map.
They've got pretty good items to take fights right here, actually. Looking kind of bad for Universe. They have Epicenter, they do. This is a kill possibility.
Straight in with the Burrow Strike, and Epi's popped as well. Fate's not messing around. They know that they need all the damage to fight through that Nature's Attendance and the lasso as well to cancel the TP, making sure that Universe has a very difficult time getting out of there. He'll get knocked back. DJ comes in with the ultimate onto Fade, but it's not enough damage to find the kill. Drums the pot. Fade should be fine here. He's got the 1 charges and the Burrow Strike as he'll cut his way through the tree line. MP and DJ unable to catch him out. So once again, that same area as well, where Fnatic, they're sending out a quarter farm. Very quick to react VGJ and get the kill. Arbed will find a return play though. Gets the catch onto the bat. This time it's VGJ Thunder's turn to get caught out 1 at a time. As the bat is gone, they'll get some pressure on top lane. Same time though, VGJ Thunder, they see an opening in mid. With the Mask of Man is done on freeze, they start to hammer into the tower. Sylar, as well as the DDC Disruptor on the sidelines, ready to stand tall in case Fnatic go for a defense here, but they won't. They'll let this one fall. That's VGJ Thunder. In a matter of a minute, take themselves their second tier 1 tower.
Yeah, Fnatic is reading this well. If they can also get top without any commit wards, this is not bad at all for Fnatic. They'll be pretty happy with this. So all they need to do is get 1 pick off, and then they should be able to pressure a tower immediately afterwards between Tiny and Luna and Mass Serpent wards. But they may have to swing bottom. I mean, VGJ might not be done yet.
Some big blink pickups from both sides, in fact. Arbed, he's got his blink on the Tiny. And of course on VGJ Thunder Fade, he's got the blink done on the Sand King. So we'll see who can have a bigger impact with this one as Fnatic. They'll be sure to try and get something big accomplished with this item reveal of Arbed as the 3 of them smoke up and will look to try and find a catch. See who they can get their eyes on.
I mean, both teams kind of mirroring each other's positions in some ways. Like, Freeze on the Death Prophet has constantly been in the off lane, basically playing in the jungle and pushing, but Luna doing the same thing on the opposite side of the map. But finally, VGJ will go for a movement here with the smoke, since they've got Exorcism ready, they've got a drum, they're very strong right now, especially with Blink on the Sand King.
They really want to make something happen. And Fnatic, they did as well, but they weren't able to find any of the members of VGJ.
Envy has shown mid though, so no, very likely they'll collapse on him.
That's a big one to find. And at this stage of the game, the Luna still incredibly squishy. They'll pop the Static Storm, they'll trap him up. Envy taken out. The smoke a success for Fnatic. Sorry, for VGJ Thunder.
They can actually kill Deuce here. She hasn't skilled her ultimate yet. She even got her talent tree perk, so if they can find him, this would be solid. But maybe they're actually waiting for the rotations to come from the west side. That could also work well. Observer Ward spotting them out, and it's just very hard for them to chase and catch heroes like this. They've got Blink on Tiny though, so if they get close enough, that could be an easy kill.
Just keeping their distance, making sure not to get caught out. Another Blink thrown into the mix. As Kang, he is more than ready to go with the Blink on top of the drums. There we have it straight away. Immediately in onto Envy, dragging him into the clutches of Fade with the epicenter. As they once again bring down that Luna. They are certainly starting to do a good job, VGJ Thunder, of finding these catches. As we say, we saw both teams really get those crucial blinks, but VGJ Thunder just seeming to be the side to make the most of it at the moment.
Their mobility is just so much better right now. Fnatic, it takes them a lot more just to move heroes in position to set up these kills. Whereas on VGJ side, they blink epicenter whenever they get an opportunity. That plus one hero, that's a kill every time. And they can make so many different kills happen, so many different kinds too. Like lasso into Disruptor ulti, do glimpse back, whereas Fnatic is just kind of straightforward. It's blink tiny toss or Elder Titan stomp, pretty much. So the laning stage really hurting them again. But either way, like Luna's still going to be vulnerable to a lot of these kinds of rotations for a long time. And even when she gets BKB, as long as they initiate first, they should be able to kill her as well. So it's going to be a while until Fnatic feels a little confident, I think, against the aggression of VGJ.
Let's see if they can get a pick off with this smoke.
This could be good if they can toss back Disruptor and Medusa maybe.
It's a tricky freeze. And then on the front lines, they will get the toss back into the hands of the rest of the team. They've got the sleep stomp as well. Popping out the shackles, they've got the control. Freeze is down. They get themselves the big pick. With a haste rune on Arbet, they're thinking about trying to chase for more. Quick burrow strike up to the high ground to get the Sanking out of there. Fade keeps his distance, put the blink forward. Arbet couldn't quite get the touch in. The blink was back off cooldown for Fade. He jumps away. But Fnatic, their turn to get that big pick off. They do manage to get Freeze off the map, and they need to do so. He's sitting at the top of the network. They cannot let Freeze get out of control like he was in Game 2.
Prevented Luna from TPing to the top lane, try to set up a kill on the bat, but I think this ultimately worked out a bit better for them. Helps them guarantee the tier 1 tower mid. Maybe Fnatic thinking more about kills rather than slightly dangerous objectives. But man, the Medusa died so fast.
Yeah.
I was very surprised actually.
They do. I mean, I guess they offer a lot, as you were sort of saying earlier with the draft, with the ET's auras and such, having the pure damage as well from the impetus. You know, it all adds up as long as they can find the control. And we're certainly seeing that with these tossbacks into Pylai Die Shackles. They've got the time to do that.
She wasn't even able to get her ultimate off. But Envy kind of surrounded once again here. Does he read the situation? They've got a glimpse back, so he's pretty much gone no matter what.
And straight in. He's put the mask as well, so he's going to be taking more damage here from these punches as Envy caught out again. It has been sort of the third time in these 5 minutes. He's trying to find this farm desperately, but VGJ Thunder, they're just having none of it. They seem to have Envy's number each and every time, and they are punishing every attempt that he makes to go out and solo push a lane.
Yeah, he's having a lot of trouble reading the game, I think. That's what seems clear. It's so hard against all the mobility and stuff, but it's so costly if your carry keeps dying like this. But I can't imagine what kind of pressure you feel when you had a laning stage like he did. Must be so hard to transition this into understand where your opponents are moving.
Down bottom. I'm going to see a bit of an attempt being made here. Pylai tried to go for the initiation, but Silo with the back of Fade will be able to get himself out to safety. And especially in terms of the numbers, as you say, with the way that Envy's being knocked back, the difference really starting to show between him and not only Freeze but Sylar as well, as there's 2 to 3k advantage favouring the cause of VGJ Thunder in comparison.
Alright, the Envy special, here it comes.
Do bottom, Fade. Tries for the opening in onto DJ. Got the control, DJ will fall.
Space created.
Envy's doing it. He's trying for it. Universe is there with the tank ability, with that untouchable, with the Nature's Attendants ready as well. This is a pretty safe Roshan for them to go for. And with 2 heroes committed, this is one of those situations where, unless you've got a perfect read on the map, do you suspect this if you're VGJ Thunder? 2 heroes are missing. Are you going to look towards the pit in time? Fade's close. He's not going to look in.
Is the Glyph going to bounce? Do they vision? I think they've got it now.
They've got it. The play paid off. As you say, Envy, the mastermind, trying for these sort of high-risk plays, and this time absolutely pays off. Gets the 2 heroes into the pit.
Man.
VGJ Thunder, they felt, this is a team that at this stage probably felt like they were in control of the game. They did not expect that sort of play to come out from the Lunar and Enchantress.
And that just messes up the whole tempo of whatever VGJ wants to do. Like, and that's Envy's specialty here. Like, because they got that kill. VGJ sits back and plays a little bit defensive. And all of a sudden, the Aegis is now on the enemy team, which just gives Fnatic even more ability to let their Luna die.
And it really was, I mean, it was an instant heads-up play as well. I mean, it felt like it was mere seconds ago that we saw Envy dying on the bottom lane. And bam, straight back into the game, into that Roche pit. And it's gone. Big boost to Envy's net worth and such, as he looked to try and climb that gap, but still quite a difference to amass. And it's going to be hard to do so with the way that Freeze has been able to keep that farm going. He's got that perfect farm triangle, of course, on the Dire's half of the map, where he can keep punching those creeps in a very safe situation, making it very hard for really Fnatic to get in there. Sort of best hope to be those sort of 5-man rotations where Abed is able to get a successful toss back.
I mean, Abed is transitioning pretty well. He's got Shadowblade finish, going to queue up his BKB next. It's a pretty standard build, and it's obviously just, it synergizes so well with all the Titan that it doesn't really matter, I think, what damage items. He doesn't have to be as like focused on things like, oh, I need a Sanjin Yasha or whatever. Like, his impact is just really strong right now.
And then Fade instantly TP's out as soon as he sees the presence of Fnatic back to join the rest of his team.
I think Medusa needs to grab, once she finishes, oh, they last with somebody bottom. Oh, it's just fine.
Standard high life there. Shoving out the way, getting himself some farm. He knows that the death is inevitable, and it does come a calling for him.
Just dragged right to his death. It's pretty close. Like, here, Medusa, take this one. We'll get you your item a little faster. But once she gets Shiva's, Scotty, there we go, the other S one. She'll be a waste of tank here.
Going to find the jump onto Envy. Envy does manage to force himself back. They've got the Earth Splitter out onto 2. Will hold back the side of VGJ Thunder. TP in from Yang with DDC. They're looking for big grabs. Jump forward. They get the vision onto Arbet. Glimpsing him back for the Shadowblade. Do they have detection? It doesn't look like they have. Arbet's going to be able to walk his way out of there with a Shadowblade. They will lose DJ. That Shadowblade pickup seeming to catch off VGJ Thunder off. As they didn't have the detection or further control to deal with it. He's out. He's safe. He does have a TP, and of course Shadowblade will be back up cooldown in a second. VGJ Thunder, they're going to look elsewhere for action, but a quick Burrow Strike away from Fade shows that he is a little bit respectful of the turnaround potential from Universe.
They could go on freeze though. Abed's in perfect position. This would be so good for him.
Oh yeah, I guess they expected Abed to TP out, but he didn't. He holds his position. Wards are dropped down, no messing. They need all the damage they can get to bring down this Dusa, and it certainly will do the job. Abed coming in with that sneak around. They thought he was gone, but he was ready to come in and offer his part to that setup.
So finally, the scouting works out for Fnatic. Like, Abed reading that well, looking for whoever was going to split push. I don't think they expected to get somebody like Medusa, but
mid lane, Envy.
Aegis incoming.
And it's going to pop the once, surely. Envy falling low. That's the Aegis gone. Can they do anything in response? Pilot Knight, look at him coming from the side. Aggressively comes in for the Hex. Static Storm is down, but there is the Stomp just in time to make sure that there's no kinetic field to hold Envy back. He's on the retreat. Silas trying for the chase down. They get the vision for the glimpse, dragging Envy back now into the put-up kinetic field. Envy still alive for now. The Cypher bringing him down low. He will fall. Abed trying to get return kills out of this. They have managed to find Freeze, but overall is Fnatic losing the heavier numbers. They've lost 2. Chase down as well as they surround Universe with the Exorcism out. More than enough damage to fly past that untouchable. As 3 will fall on Fnatic. 2 have fallen on Thunder, but that was a fight with the Aegis in hand of the Envy Luna as well. VGJ Thunder able to find the perfect opportunity to kick things off with that Exorcism doing all the work in that team fight.
It's so difficult for Fnatic to start team fights that even with an Aegis like that, it buys them some time, but they just don't have the same damage potential. If Envy had a BKB there, yeah, he can drop Eclipse and run right in, but he had to run into basically 4 heroes with Eclipse, and as soon as BKB's popped on Death Prophet, his damage is super limited. Pilot Eye does barely get out here. Maybe not barely, but gets out just in time. And he got a lot of wards down on the bright side. They'll lose a team fight to buy some time to plant wards, so maybe they can finally make some kills happen by moving across the map, but they still had this mobility issue.
They do, and 6k lead starting to get built up. Sylar, he's got his eyes on MV. He is, of course, just on his own and without the exorcism. Not really much that he can do about that, but the state of their two cores, Sylar and Freeze, just continue to be that step ahead of Abed and Envy. Both partners having about a 3k gold difference between them. Fnatic, they just need that bit more of a punch in these fights to sort of close that gap they have to sort of take a successful team fight as a full 5-on-5. Anytime that exorcism's up for Sylar, it's proving to be very difficult for Fnatic to do.
It was a really good opportunity for them to get a kill though. They spot their opponents. They're in a good high ground position now.
Okay, jump forward. Immediately, BKB pop from Sylar. They've got the static storm down. There's the burrow strike coming from Fade. Onto 2. They're focusing Abed. 3-man silence from Sylar as they surround the Tiny. Abed trying to walk his way out of this one, but he'll fall down. The magic damage too much. They get the vision onto Pi. They glimpse back the Shadow Shaman. He'll be quick with the Hex. Look to hide in the tree line. He's trying for the TP out. Is Pi actually going to make it? No, he's not. Yule Scepter's there from Sylar. Pi Lai Die. Infuse Raindrop. He's buying time, they're hunting, and they'll find him. Pilot Eye will fall, and of course at the sidelines, the rest of Fnatic getting chased down. Fade and Yang, eyes onto DJ. He'll try for the stomp, but the quick blinks out to the side as Fade Yang dodge the stomp, finish off the kill. VGJ Thunder take 3. And as you say, it looked like a good opportunity for them to get him, but they couldn't get that opening. The quick BKB from Sylar.
And that's the issue. Avalanche has a small delay. I think the only way they could initiate that is if Abed goes in and instantly tosses the Death Prophet, and while she's in air, follows it up with an Avalanche. Then maybe they can kill her before she gets BKB off. But if you're fighting on that kind of like high ground to high ground situation, I mean, they were even right next to a shrine. Like, VGJ Thunder was so prepared for that, and they still felt like they had to force this. I mean, they're behind, but I don't know if they needed to force a fight like that. And then it just became Fnatic watching their friends die, basically. Like, should I go in? Probably not. I've felt this before. This feeling of me jumping in to save and dying.
Now you say they were behind already, and now they're even more so. 12k lead for VGJ Thunder off the back of that fight. Once again, we saw Freeze have a fantastic Terrorblade performance this game. Sure, he has actually died a few times this time around, but the farm is still impeccable. 16k net worth on this Medusa. As the game gets later, it does feel like it's only going to get harder and harder for Fnatic's heroes against this incredibly stacked Medusa. Yeah,
and when she builds an AC, she just doesn't actually take that much physical damage. And I don't really see Fnatic having a solution to that. They don't have that much single target. Enchantress is just now starting an Ags, but it's not going to be enough, I don't think.
And Abed, he's caught out straight away with the invasion of the jungle. They have the lasso onto Abed. Abed will fall. As VGJ Thunder, we've seen constantly this game, the movements, the pickoffs, the catches, they've just been infinitely better for VGJ Thunder. They've just had that bit of a better read of this game, as it seems.
Yeah, I mean, they're jungling Tiny. That's your carry. You've got some wards protecting the jungle, but not that many. And then Thunder gets to go high ground now.
Yeah, Exorcism is up. Straight away, Fortification comes out for Fnatic. These 30 seconds, they'll have to look to try and hold without the Tiny. Quick glimpse as well.
Big glimpse Pi.
It will rip Pi away. So no hope for defense. He did have the wards up if he did want to try and drop them to stop it. Questionable really if it would have been enough to stop VGJ, as this Exorcism push just a little bit too strong for Fnatic to deal with in any sort of sense. The racks will fall. DJ finds the sleep onto 1, but still with 10 seconds, no Abed. A very hard fight for Fnatic to take, especially with Envy still yet to get that BKB. Raid. Tries for the burrow strike. Quick exit there, Pi. He'll pop down the wards, but he'll lose his life. And if anything, VGJ Thunder, they might try and farm the wards as well. Envy's coming in, trying to discourage them. They'll pop out the ult from Freeze. Earthsplitter will connect with DJ. They're trying to chase for Fade. He's in with the Epi. Burrow strike onto 2. The silence and siphons are out from Sylar. They can't kill this Death Prophet. Envy comes in on the back line, but the quick glimpse to rip Envy away from Freeze. Wilming the Freeze. He'll stay safe for now. Turns towards Universe. Jump forward again from Fade. Gets the Burrow strike off. They've lost 3 on Fnatic. Sylar still alive for now. BKB in the self-fuels keeps him up and safe, ready to go. Another blink from Fade. Jukes out the stomp from DJ. Comes back in. VGJ Thunder get the team wipe, and now 4 heroes dead on Fnatic. They do not have buyback available on them. As VGJ Thunder, they're free to go to work on the base.
And they got all their heroes alive. There's almost no way Fnatic defend this. I think they'll lose the tower at least. They've got a potential Luna buyback, but she just kind of gets shredded. She still doesn't have BKB, and
Yeah.
VGJ can do whatever they want to get kills.
These fights, they're just the execution from VGJ Thunder just being that ever so much tighter than that of Fnatic here in this game 3. As they have looked incredibly hot, they'll clean up a second set of racks. Fnatic will still stay in the game, but with 2 sets of racks down, a 23k advantage to a lineup that has this Medusa, who is more than accustomed to this stage of the game.
They scan. They're going to try to clean them up as they retreat, but will they spot them?
These
The
will
ward
be
did.
huge kills to find.
So that was pretty low here. This would be a big kill.
They'll get the Hex. They're looking for it, but Envy, he gets glimpsed back immediately. They will still find Sylar, though, and DDC. So they do get 2 out of this, despite ripping Envy back out of it. Freeze, he's still low. If Arbeck can get the catch onto this Juicer, it would be absolutely huge. Freeze playing around with it. Arbeck trying to keep out of vision so he could get the blink attempt, but Freeze able to get a touch in. So Arbeck can't get in onto his face for that toss back.
It's a perfect play there by Pi. Disabling the right people. The only person that can interrupt Shackles was the Disruptor, so good grab. And Fnatic, if they can get a Roche out of this would be so big, actually.
I mean, this...
They're holding on to this game.
They really are. They're so...
Not tightly. It's like one little pinky right now,
Yeah.
but maybe they'll get 2 fingers once they grab Aegis here. But this is also cheese, at least.
Okay.
That Envy could use that without having... All right, Envy's queued up the Rapier. It's Envy time,
I mean,
dude.
this is why we love to watch Fnatic, really. This team, they will not lie aside and let you take the base. They will fight to the bitter end, and as we've seen historically, there's been times where they have certainly been able to turn it around. Could this be one of them? It's a hard one, 18k behind, but they, as you say, they get this Roche, Envy, 3200 towards the Rapier. BKB is now complete on Arbed. They're holding on, Purge.
This man needs to be... He's going to have a 1600 HP and a Rapier on Luna. Like,
this is one of the most ballsy Rapier purchases I've seen in a while, and Envy's been picking up a few lately. But as you say, the definition of glass cannon with this Mask of Madness, Hurricane Pike, Rapier, Luna build. Don't try this in your pubs, kids.
oh, man. He's got as much armor as Terrorblade starts the game with, right? When he turns on Mask of Madness.
Oh,
I don't know if he'll be able to survive against the Dusa hits, but VGJ is prepping to get a free kill here. If they can grab somebody... Abed's maybe not the hero they want. They'd love to eat Pi again, but not going to find him. And like the only safe place they can stand is actually behind their throne. It's very hard for them.
He's got to be so careful. They're sweeping up here.
Don't worry, he doesn't have the Aegis yet. I mean, the Rapier.
They can definitely kill him twice, though. He's keeping his distance.
What's 2 more deaths?
This is true. As we've seen,
It's going to cut the
Envy
wave.
or no Envy, they can still hold on to the game.
Oh no, it's daytime. He's trapped now. He was going to swing around and farm the other camp, but now he knows.
Get out of there.
They might have seen me.
He's gone.
That was scary. He was definitely going to keep farming. Like he knows this is one of those games where the safe farm is on their side of the map because they will not be there. They're trying to kill you in your base. Attempt at dewarding failed. Not going to grab the observe ward here in the lane. Providing vision and VGJ just kind of knows they just need to pick off. They don't need to take a 5v5. They don't need to gamble against the Aegis or the cheese. They still could, I'm sure. Probably still win that fight.
They could certainly try and throw their bodies in. They're still pretty deadly.
Well, they got to at least hold for some buyback here. Death Prophet needs about 400 gold, so definitely play a little safe here, unless you see a great opportunity to grab a kill.
And just 1,000 away from having this Rapier, but VGJ Thunder, they're already putting the pressure on. Straight up top, Exorcism is popped by Sylar. The full 5-mana VGJ Thunder ready to close up a third and final set of racks away from the side of Fnatic. Fortification comes out.
Envy's just farming. He's got 700 gold to go with it.
So desperate to find it.
Guess they're aiming for Mega Creeps here.
Sell your Hurricane Pike and buy it.
I don't know if that's...
He's got
okay,
it.
all right.
But
Got 18 seconds.
Oh, that TP's on cooldown, though.
All right. It was only Mega Creeps,
Okay.
and now he's got Rapier. Watch how fast he can farm now.
Yeah,
It's like
and
a
now he
one
can
shot.
farm that BKB. You know, this is
Okay,
the
alright.
next level. As you say, he needs a BKB. How do you get a BKB faster? Well, this technically doesn't work out mathematically, but you farm a Rapier to farm the BKB.
Yeah.
It's next level stuff.
Oh, it might be 2 Rapiers this game. Deuce is queuing it up.
He's going for it, Freeze. And arguably, he's going to be a little bit more robust with his sort of Rapier holding in these team fights. Just a little bit more survivable than this the Hurricane Pike Mask of Madness Luna, but we love it.
Backing up his Rapier with 3 defensive items. It's not a bad idea.
And certainly doing what's needed. There's absolutely no doubt about it. If he doesn't go for this sort of play, they have no chance of killing the cause of VGJ Thunder. But now they're there is that little sort of glimmer of hope for Fnatic. If they can somehow enable Envy to go in, I mean, they're going to need some massive stomps, Urspillers, you need 3-4-man avalanches coming out from Arbed. You can buy enough time. He will shred through the lineup, apart from Freeze. We'll see.
And maybe Sunlight, but we'll see.
I'm sure, yeah,
He's got a plate mail, so he's relatively tanky. You know, the AC aura is actually going to help a lot in terms of reducing overall damage here. All comes down. Can Envy enter the team fight? Be unnoticed. Right-click heavily. Maybe it bounces perfectly. Maybe there are no creeps in the base to tank Moonglaves. Never know.
It definitely feels like one of those games, though, where we could see Envy just die.
Oh, Arcane Rune 2 on the Death Prophet. This is so good for them. They could just use this just to chip away.
He's got to be careful, son.
It's harassing them.
He's trying, sleeps out into the Deucer. Slowing down.
Good idea. Buy time, that's all you need right now.
Yeah, they do. Envy, he's got some creeps hitting onto him. Be careful, be careful. The jump in Arbed, the toss out onto Freeze. Freeze immediately pops the Stone Gate. The keep back, Arbed does get taken down and will immediately buy back for this one. Envy keeping himself safe in the fountain. They'll look towards this man, the longest shackles in the world coming out from Pi. They're trying to move Envy forward. He really is. He's trying to find his punches, the Earth Spinner as well, but the Static Storm's down. No, Envy! He's down, but the Aegis is still there. The Ancient is being focused. He's down to half health. Can Envy go for a second life? He's got the Eclipse. He's looking towards DDC. He really wants that support, but he's not going to get anything. He's out and down. GG is called. VGJ Thunder will take the game and take the series. But boy, Fnatic, they went down in Fnatic style.
That was like the longest 35-minute game I think I've ever seen. If that one felt like it was...
It really did feel a lot longer
than 35 minutes. It was a tense one. Definitely a tense one. Rapier's at an early purchase. Not the most typical item build, but ultimately what happened to Fnatic was that their laning stage just was not what they wanted out of it. Envy was kind of... He felt solo almost the whole time. And a lot of that came down to them trying to get the back kill, Pi dying. He ended up TPing back to lane, instantly dying again because they were focused on items for Eternal Envy to get from the courier, and then man, they just they got behind, and then Envy was just doing what he could, and he just kept getting ganked over and over and over again.
He tried his best though with that Rapier pickup towards the end of it, but again, just this series, some really solid performances from VGJ Thunder as a whole, but definitely two players that really stick out to me. Freeze's carry performances incredibly solid, and Fade, this man, his rotations, his Tuscan, his tanking, he's looking pretty hot this event.
Yeah, I was feeling a little doubtful about VGJ after their series earlier today, but I think this best of 3 I think was pretty convincing. And Fnatic kind of continues to be that like really hot and moderately cold team, where sometimes they look like the best team in the world once in a while. And other teams, they look like they're completely uncoordinated. Like it felt like their draft was off or something. They had no ability to initiate outside of like a Shadow Shaman, and the guy had like brown boots and a raindrop.
I mean, he went
and
for
a magic stick.
Every fight. You know, he was in there.
He did his job, I think, and he did catch up in a good place, but it was tough.
Wow. Absolutely. There we have it, Perch. That was it. The final game of Dota for the day, as Fnatic will get beaten in Game 3. VGJ Thunder to take the series 2-1. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have a short break here at GESC Indonesia, and then we'll be back with the panel for some post-game analysis.
cool, but you never got the sense that they were going to be able to leverage those Aegis into a high ground push.
Classic Eternal Envy extends his record of most games lost after purchasing Rapier.
Yeah.
Again, we talked about how that kind of style of Eternal Envy came through in game number 2, where it was like when you're backed into a corner, Envy, like, it becomes very clear, like, you only can really win this one way, and Envy's fully down to embrace that one way.
It's the desperation rapier, right? The
Right.
desperate rapier,
And
if you will.
I think that style is like it's very important though. That style is a lot of fun to watch, and that style can be really effective. It's very, very hard when there's the uber carry on the other side, right? Like the Terrorblade in game 2 and the Medusa in game 3. You know, you're going to get your rapier, you're going to go make your plays, but at the end of the day, there's still this ultra farm carry on the other side that's very difficult to kill. They're going to take that rapier away from you.
Yeah.
Do we still feel like for me, what I learned from this series is that like Fnatic is still not that team to be able to take on the best with when they're running these sort of Abed as the aggressive sort of aggressive space creator for Eternal Envy as being more of the harder carry. I think they looked a lot better in game 1 and even better in game 2 when they were like kind of all aggressive lineup than they did in game 3.
I would agree with that. I mean, I think again, all the teams are sort of building at this point in the season, and I like what Fnatic is doing in the draft. They have a lot of diversity in the lineups that they can run, but the execution isn't always there. I really like what VGJ Thunder are doing execution-wise, their rotations and the team fights, but their drafts are still quite a bit inflexible for my taste. But again, these are just different teams at different points in their development, and I think these are two teams that we're going to see in the mix throughout this tournament. We may see this matchup again in the later stages and throughout the season.
One of the more awkward drafts for them to be able to play it as well, right? You've got the 1-to-1 where Dusa versus Luna. That's not super happy. The Death Prophet side lane had kind of stymied some of the aggression issues that they wanted to be able to establish in their laning phase as well. All that team fight power that VGJ were able to get off of both the Sand King and the Bat Rider, I think causes a lot of issues for Fnatic and how they wanted to be able to build up that 4-man and play that aggressive into VGJ constantly.
No, I mean, again, the bottom line is that Fnatic, I think if they develop as I expect, they have the kind of talent on that roster where they're going to be able to beat people with execution in another month or two, but they're just not there yet.
But how about tomorrow? Because we just saw they have to play a match tomorrow. It's a best of 1. Do you think they still come second in their group? It's going to be either against the Final Tribe or Digital Chaos, who are going to play each other in a best of 3.
I mean, I think DC have the potential to be a much better team tomorrow with that day already under their belts. I mean, it looked like a little bit maybe of first land jitters for Brawl today.
I hope so for them.
And the Final Tribe, I mean, they put up quite a fight in that best of 1 earlier today. That was probably the best of our 4 best of 1 matches that we started the day with. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I definitely think Fnatic need to still be sharp tomorrow, but what we've seen from this team the last couple of events, I have every faith they will be.
Yeah, they're definitely still favorites. Then again, the only thing that we're going to really say is that we don't fully know the strength of those teams that drop down early because of the best of 1. So we'll be able to get a better idea in their best of 3 against each other.
All right, for Group A, obviously, also we have EG making it through. They are in the semifinals, and if you're in the semifinals, you don't have to play tomorrow because tomorrow is lower bracket day, and lower bracket day is for the losers. I say it nicely. This is the loser day. Oh no, it's
that's your way of saying it nicely.
No.
I don't want to see
these games are still super exciting.
Yeah.
We will have no elimination matches. I want to point that out as everybody gets seeded. Just if you lose that first best of 3 for Infamous RRQ and the Final Tribe versus Digital Chaos, those are 2 best of 3 matches. If you lose those, you are basically going for a best of 1 elimination match, and that is not where you want to be.
Yeah, that's scary, and I like that. You know, you go all the way back to the Manila Major where Valve was doing that routinely with their majors as a way to make the group phase a little more meaningful. And I dislike best of 1s in general, but I like it as a sort of incentive. Hey, you really need to take this group phase seriously.
This will basically be their third chance if they their third chance best of 1. It's a bubble bracket as it is called. It just means also that we'll have actually all 8 teams playing at the main event, which will be super exciting here for the Indonesian fans. I think that will be one to look out for. But that's in 2 days from now. For now, though, for us, it's been a long day. We've had a lot of awesome Dota. But it's time to wrap it up, and it's time to say goodbye, and we'll see you back tomorrow. We're starting tomorrow at the same time. For us, that is 9 a.m. I'm sure you can find out what it is in your time zone, because I don't really know, actually, because I don't know where you live, you know? But
Everybody at Twitter, hit
Don't
up
do-
Cheever, tell her where
Don't
you
do that.
live, give her your address.
And
Wow,
I will
thanks, Cap.
calculate what time. No, I won't. I really won't. But I will see you again tomorrow. I'm counting on you to join us for some hype action for Dota 2 here from Jakarta, Indonesia. We'll say goodnight for now here from GESC.